Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining Jason and I in the Meta Cafe for your daily astrological, human design, and tarot energy report. So I'm glad to report that I'm feeling a whole lot better today, that I'm in a better frame of mind, better spirit of mind, and I feel like I can actually telescope information to you properly today.
Well, anybody who listened to last Thursday's Living Astrology show would have heard me truly have a good laugh at Janet's expense. See, because and I think if I had really done it right, I would have just instead had a Gemini mother like Janet. This way I would know where these two heads, these two faces of Eve I get into the Gemini wholeheartedly right on in my face, and it gives me always a lot of insight as to what's going on with me with my Gemini rising
moon.
So because I get it, because I'm like bullshit. This is all bullshit. I hate my life. I'm not making money. And she looks at me and she goes, "Have you looked at gate 42?"
No,
I'm going to take an axe
gate 29. Gate 29 is the one I'm usually looking at for you.
Take an axe pick and do a cartoon murder in my mind. Comes back, but I get to bludgeon her. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, all of you Argonauts out there, I will not be live tomorrow. We're going to repeat my show because I know, contrary to popular belief, I do have a life. And we have a huge pumpkin festival, and I'm taking my nephew. I mean, like tunnels you go through, the entire thing is packed with pumpkins that are looking down on you, that have been carved.
You guys take good pictures in a movie. We can upload some pictures to Facebook and let people know what it's like, because that sounds too awesome for words.
I honestly will. I was like, well, you know what? There are only a couple things. Halloween Like You is my favorite. And for me, if the Halloween Spirit does not have a Rocky Horror Picture Show, doesn't have pumpkin something. I don't like to see stuff because I'm afraid I'll void my in public. Shitting yourself in public is not a good look. But anyway, so I am going to usurp your abilities today. I'm going the Queen of Wands. Janet once thing about, I can't remember, Venus or whoever was going wrong, and it was The Bitch Is Back. This is The Bitch Is Back by Elton John.
Oh yeah, because I have that song in the audio clips of my Blog Talk Radio.
Absolutely. This is feminine power. She stands on the spiraling her vagina. Wow, her vagina. That means that everyone is looking at her, and then above, as below the serpent, yet one more time. She then holds the serpent again. I mean, dicks. She looks like a seal at a lot of dicks. And so what does that mean? She's coming from, I know you love the imagery. It means that this is a card of high power. This is a card of high power for women. This is like high power men have addressed the sky. So this card, and it talks to me all about Mars. It is the card that says, I have a Mars energy today. So do me a favor, everyone, do not purchase the flamethrower.
No flamethrowers allowed.
So if you feel yourself being aggressive or unpredictable, please opt for the latter.
Okay.
That's my story, and I'm keeping to it.
Well, it's a good story because actually, unbeknownst to you, this morning, the moon and Mars are in a conjunction. So that joins the feminine moon energy with the masculine principle. And so it does kind of speak to maybe holding space for quiet instead of vomiting out all the words that you might want to say. They're at the latter degrees of Virgo, very feminine energy. So it is the feminine that's sort of the feminine wearing her masculine armor. So in a way, she is becoming powerful or empowered. And Venus, if you could look, let me see if I can show you the chart. I can get it to focus in.
You have to drop that back a half a foot. There.
What I want you to look at is, let me see if I can get my pen to work right here.
Yep.
Right? You've got Venus, and then the moon. Wait a minute.
And Mars?
And then Mars. And so we have the feminine Venus right next to the feminine moon, right next to the masculine Mars in the feminine sign of Virgo. What does that tell you?
A lot of dykes out there raging on bikes.
Okay, well, that's not how I would put it, but it's sort of the same thing. It is the idea of of the feminine energy sort of tempering the masculine energy, but while she's doing that, she's also taking on some masculine qualities. And maybe we can look at it as, the feminine taking on some of the better of the masculine qualities, the protective energies, the more assertive energies of, let's take steps and move forward. Mars is about dynamic action. The moon sometimes is holding back, waiting for the right energy because it is so cyclical, right? The moon moves very quickly against the backdrop of the other planets and the signs. And so maybe it is the time to act. Now, the new moon is coming this week too, Jason. So this is a highly energetic week anyway.
Crazy.
And in today's
energetic cards, especially for all that feminine energy.
It is distinctly feminine. And believe it or not, Libra itself, where the sun is and where the new moon sun connection will be, is actually masculine. It's ruled by Venus, but it's actually a masculine energy. And so
very short sort of, it means to promote or to project this masculine in the female. So it's interesting.
Do you know what I've been thinking about Libra? And this is totally off the subject today, but I've been sort of thinking about Libra as an androgyne, where it's masculine and feminine in balance, and yet not displaying either or. It's more of the neutral of those energies. When, imagine what would happen if we lived in a world that was completely balanced with the male and the female, and everybody was allowed to play the role that they were here to play. And
nightclubs would be so boring.
No, I think it would be far more fun if everybody could just be who they wanted to be instead of putting on whatever mask it is that they needed to put on to be the party
say
girl.
That it would get rid of the need for drag queens, and we don't want to have that. We need our.
I love drag queens. I think they are so funny.
Fun, especially in the nightclub. Everybody was like on their shit, then they would do anything extravagant like that. But
yeah,
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, absolutely fun. So, this isn't a bad thing, but everything is going to shift as we start moving into, well, today begins a shift. Mercury moves out of Libra and into Scorpio, feminine energy. Jupiter's already made the move into Scorpio, feminine energy. The sun and the moon will follow immediately after the new moon on Thursday into the feminine energy of Scorpio. So one after the other, we're seeing this energy of Scorpio and the feminine rising up. And I think there's something to be said about this. It's almost, of course, every year this happens, right? Mercury moves in, Scorpio moves in, the sun moves into Scorpio and all that. So that happens every year. But what's different this year is that Jupiter is also in Scorpio, and this new moon is pretty much in an out of sign conjunction with Jupiter, meaning Jupiter's already in Scorpio, but the moon and the sun are at the last 2 or 3 degrees of Libra, but that still puts it close enough to be a conjunction. So it is like bringing masculine and feminine together. Kind of an interesting week that we have. Today, Mercury moves into Scorpio, which means our words take on deeper meaning. So pray tell, Jason, let's keep our tongues in check and not bring that scorpion stinger up behind to get people. Use your words with power and force in the positive and not in the negative. And tomorrow we'll talk about Mercury's conjunction with Jupiter. And I know you've got to get going. You've got a doctor appointment. So anything else you want to share with us today? share with you.
Very quickly, even though I don't have a show this week, next week I'm having this holistic chiropractor who has healed me up to about 90%. He's going to be coming on, and then he was going to have a monthly chiropractic corner with Dr. Philip D. Do medical questions. That's about it for me today, folks.
Great. And then tomorrow I'll tell you more about my show, because maybe by then I'll have figured out what it is. And everybody have a great day, and be safe and be sane. And we love you. We'll see you next week. See you next week. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, I gotta love myself.
I have a question for real quick.
Hold on, we haven't ended the broadcast.